Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Stihl FS45 string trimmer. The customer complaint is that it won't start. One sniff in the fuel tank and it smells like clean, fresh gasoline. It's red in color. At first I thought it might be canned fuel, true fuel or something like that, but it smells like gasoline. Next thing we're going to do is take a look inside the cylinder and see what that looks like. I mean, there's no evidence on the spark plug of any wrongdoings or nastiness going on in the cylinder. But we'll look in there. Look good. Now how about sparks? Do we have that? Yeah, the green light flashing on that tester means that we had spark. So what's the next step? We have fuel and spark. I'm going to check if this thing will start or not, right? Get the spark plug tightened down. Wait a minute here. Here's the air filter cover and there's the air filter box, but there's no air filter in there. Not sure what's up with that. So the problem here is that it's not priming. There could be a few different reasons why it's not priming, but for me, if the fuel line is intact, the filter's in fuel, and it won't prime, then I replace the carburetor. Maybe if I put a kit in it, it'll come around, but enough times I've been burned by trying to do that on a carb that won't prime that they get replaced now if they won't prime. If it does prime and it just doesn't run right or it won't start, then I'll rebuild it. And that's worked pretty good for me. But check this out now. The air filter cover is dirty, but the base is clean. So what I'm thinking happened here was that it wouldn't start and the guy pulled the cover off and looked in there, maybe even squirted some gas in it or something, and just forgot to put the filter back in before he brought it to me. So we'll get this cleaned up a little bit here and I'll get a carburetor ordered for this thing. Now, unfortunately, these carburetors must have been on back order or whatever, because it took me a long time to get it. I did not have one in stock. So we got our throttle cable off and our fuel line off. And we're going to look inside the intake and just see what it looked like in there. It was pretty clean. Piston looked good. We'll put this gasket back on and hang it on a rack for, it sat there for probably 2 months. I mean, the guy lost pretty much most of the trimming season waiting on this thing. But, you know, once I order the part, there's not much I can do but wait. And very rarely will I order an aftermarket carburetor. The results doing that have been 50-50, and those odds just aren't good enough when you're talking about the potential of I mean, the amount of money you waste on carburetors that don't work is not worth it. So we got a brand new official Stihl carburetor, and the customer agreed to pay for it, and that's all that really matters. I mean, he was of the same mindset that he'd rather have an original carburetor than take a chance on a aftermarket one. And we should be able to bolt this on, and it should run pretty close to the way it was intended. So this plate right here has got a little pin on it. There's a hole that lines up in. That plate is what the throttle cable wraps around. And there's a screw in that plate that makes it adjustable. So you can take the slack out of the cable. It's kind of a nice design. We'll put attach the cable to the carburetor here. There we go. Get that pin located back in there where it belongs. And then we'll put this base plate on. You know, as I was watching this video here before I cut in this headshot, I was thinking to myself, you know, I gotta stop using a magnet to spin them nuts on there. It's a pain in the butt. It works in a pinch. I'm thinking I need a shallow nut driver with a magnet in it, where the nut just sits flush at the end of the socket. Not even realizing, it just occurred to me that I've got magnetic nut drivers. So don't comment about how there's better ways to put these nuts on here right now, because I just figured it out for myself. You know, it's funny. There's thousands of dollars worth of tools in that box right there, and I might not even be sure what's in all the drawers, you know what I mean? So we'll get this second nut on here started. And this really isn't the worst thing, but I could shave 30 seconds off this job if I would have had that nut driver. Not that it looks like this guy's really going for it or anything. Alright, we got our carburetor mounted. We need an air filter. Looks like I'm digging for one. Like I said, it's been months. I probably acquired the air filter way before I acquired the carburetor. Just threw it up on the bench here. Let's see if it primes now. Look at that. You know what? That's the same fuel that was in there before I ordered the carburetor. Let's see how it runs. So that's all I got for you on the Stihl FS45 carb swap. Thanks for watching. Later.